Welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show, and our guy Anthony Schlegel, who claims to be ready. I thought he was asleep and dead. He had music on or was doing something else to start the show. I wanted to make sure he was ready to rock and ready to go.
Right here.
Yeah, I get that. You seem to be fired up now, but how has your week been thus far, sir? The first week back in the saddle here. The kids graduated and everything going on.
Yeah, it's been eventful. Just been the accounts receivable guru for a lot of different things, which it was funny. Everybody's like, why are you talking so soft? I was like, this is my accounts receivable voice, my patient pants, so to speak. And I like to have background on everything because every case is different. And here we go. So that's not been fun. I will say this, what has been fun is I like to do a DEXA every quarter. I haven't done it since right after Christmas, and diet was terrible, sleep was terrible. After that, training's always been good, not what I want. I like to be more consistent and eat more iron, and also be able to run and like do the things that you get to enjoy doing, Bobby. Like I like that stuff, but it's hard to do when you're flying, twice a week. Terrible. So consistency hasn't been there, but changed the diet, went to the Ohio Sleep Institute, got fitted for custom mouth guards at night that have really, really helped, and got back on the DEXA and just monitor my diet. Our dietitian at the Armory has helped out a lot. And, like, how do I just go to Clean Eats or Visionary Meals and just get meals that I can have here in microwave? Because I live like a Spartan. I just won't eat all day, and then I'll eat 6 eggs at night or whatever. It's not good. But hey, guess what? Body fat down, visceral fat down, and lean muscle mass up 3.5 pounds. So guess what? At 44, I'll take it.
There we go. I liked it. Visceral fat's down. That's some good stuff for you there, Schlegs.
Thanks.
Looks like you're heading on the right track.
I'm on the right track, man. Choo-choo.
That was good. Our dude did some dude things yesterday, Schlegs. We had I've got some dead boxwoods I had to tear out.
Yeah.
And, I used to dig them out or just pull them out, with like this nice deadlift, rip them out of the ground. But I also had some branches to cut. And so I started off, I got out my winch. So I got it from our guys over at Real Truck. And it was awesome. I took it, wrapped around the bushes, just pulled them right out of the ground. Proof David Copperfield was trimming the tree. It's like, RJ, go get on the winch. I'm going to cut this big branch, start tightening when I tell you, ready the mechanism. I cut it on both sides a little bit, started pulling, boom, ripped that thing, pulled it right over top so I didn't have to move any of my furniture, any of that.
What are you talking about? It's amazing.
It's got to do some dude things, man. It was fun. I had both my pole saw and my still out cutting through some of that stuff. So that was a lot of fun. And it looks a lot better now. And got a little rain coming through. Got to finish up some mulching, but excited. But it is the Memorial Tournament.
Yeah, tell me about that. When are you going?
I'm gonna head up. I'm gonna head up today.
Nice.
And excited. And so I was telling some stories, talking to AJ about this on the radio show this week, and he was pretty juiced. Because we're talking some stories. They bulldozed the bogey in. Did you realize that?
I did not realize that. I knew that it was closed. I knew that they were trying to do something different there.
Well, they're going to redevelop it. Right now, it's just a field, and they have all of they have
so many good times at the bogey.
Well, they have tents there and everything. They still have the music, probably a bunch of porta-johns and everything, which, it's like you really didn't even need the porta-john back in the day because you always just had the beer bottle. Can you find an empty bottle? Problem is 12 ounces isn't a lot of urine when you've been ingesting a lot of fluid all day long. So usually might be a couple beer bottles that you would do that. But we would always go to the bogey back in the day. And I mean, Shikes, that seems like a lifetime ago now when we would go there. And AJ said, we would go to the Memorial Tournament and then just end up at the bogey. None of us ever drove to the bogey.
No.
I never parked over at the bogey. I don't know how I got there, and then leaving. Sometimes I don't know how we would get home, to tell you the truth. I'm trying to think the one time maybe we had a cab or a car. The one time we left, AJ got in a car with some randos and went back with them. They did stop at Wendy's, he said, and got him 2 spicy and got him 2 grilled chicken sandwiches. So he's fired up about that. But he would, he would just end up back there, and it was kind of crazy to see like how that would happen. And I try to look back now of like how all those events occurred, and for the life of me, Schlegs, like I don't really remember much of it. but it was a really good time regardless.
Hey, lots of good time. I mean, honestly, I don't know how we got anywhere. There was no Uber. Like, I don't even remember. You always remember how you kind of got there, but you never remember how
Yeah.
you got there after you got there. And then how did you even get home?
Well,
Like
that's the better part.
those are the hard hitting questions.
How you got home was the real question. We would get there. I remember we went up with some of some guys, and it may have been slightly, looking back on it, illegal. I mean, as far as like we got tickets and went to the hospitality passes. And I'll never forget, it was the first thing I'd ever gone to in my life where they had an open bar. And so I was like, how does this work? They just give them tips. I'm like, really? And we were at the hospitality
You're just
tent.
over there giving you a tip, and it's like, hey, listen, don't confuse activity with achievement.
Yeah, that was before I knew that,
I know.
because I was definitely there for activity and not achievement. But remember, Shakes, we were leaving those tents. You know, we're all of us are there, and we're young guys, and I didn't know what to order. I was like, all right, give me a Jack and Coke. And I'm drinking those at 9:30 in the morning, and then like, all right, we're gonna leave and go walk the course. I'm like, but the drinks are free in here. He's like, yeah, dude, everywhere we go, they're gonna be free today. I'm like, all right, that sounds pretty good to me. So let's go. He's like, but you can't take your drink out with you on the course. They got to finish up. I'm like, all right, boom, down the hatch. Let's go to the next place.
Or you're like, hey, let's get another one. Like, hey, listen, we're going to take two. We're going to do them right now. Pound these things.
Well,
Matter of fact, give me a Jack and Coke and a shot. And then
most of those places, they won't do shots at like corporate tents like that. I'm sure there's
just
some
put it in a
liability.
glass. Don't worry about it. Just put it in there. No ice.
You know what I want? I want
Take it
a
neat.
Jack straight up neat.
That's what you say now. It's like, hey, I just take a Jack like or a bourbon neat, please. Yeah, boom. Yeah, I'm out. I got two.
And then we would go to the party on 18. I look at that house now, and sometimes it's getting a little fun, but dude, it's not near as raucous as it used to be 20 years ago. And I feel for the young guys that they don't get a chance to go up there and experience that like we did. Or you remember, like they have the music like pounding in the front yard, which was
Yeah.
like towards the street.
Yeah.
So that it was like a dance party out there. And you come back, watch a couple golf shots from the deck, but you could always see it all right there, the approach on the 18. So you never had to leave, get some food, get some drink. And then it was just a straight up like college party at the end.
It was amazing. It was a house party, man. It was I remember they had all their alcohol right there in the garage. Remember that, Bob? Like,
yeah, the 3 Olives.
didn't they have like huge for some reason I just remember like huge bottles of Grey Goose, like I mean ginormous bottles.
No, it was 3 Olive is who.
Oh, is that what it was? I was like, let's crack those bad boys open.
Well, and they said
Who
no.
wants to make that one bubble?
So you remember Asia was walking around and they're like, listen, you cannot open those. Like they're for display only. I mean, they were 3 Olive bottles, vodka bottles that were literally this like 4 feet, 3.5, 4 feet tall.
I mean, they were
Probably
big.
like-
I mean, honestly, how big is that?
They were like 5 gallons, man. Like 4
Yeah,
or 5
they're
gallons.
big.
They're huge. And I remember AJ walking around like, don't open it, don't open it. And he's just, it's like, whatever. And the next thing I know, he's like, it tastes like formaldehyde. And I'm like, dude. And he like popped the top and like, I don't know how he drank it without like dropping the bottle because it was heavy.
Yeah.
And he's like, it tastes like formaldehyde. And the guy's like, I told you not to open it. It was like gut vodka. It's like, he goes, actual, it won't hurt you, but he goes, it tastes like death. He's like, it's for display purposes only. He's like, that's why I told you not to open it, because I knew you'd open it and want to drink it.
I made Jayhawk. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. And then
he's probably like, let's just find some wax and I'll fix this.
we'll redip it. What's it, like Maker's Mark? We'll redip it.
Yeah.
Gosh, but it was so wild. And we were still in school because we had school till like, June 12th or 13th.
Yeah, we're in quarters.
Yeah, so we were on quarters. And so like May was always the best month. And I felt like the apex of the spring was always the Memorial Tournament. And we'd go out there and just really get after it. And as I got older, I was like, okay, I've got to find ways to get into these houses. Like when I'd come back, I never really came back when I was playing because we were always in OTAs and everything and mini camp. So I never really came back then. But after I got done playing, I mean, I went pretty hard there for a couple of years, and then we started broadcasting up there and not doing that anymore with the fan for my show, so that stinks. But I'm going to head up today with Court. Pretty excited about that. Get after it a little bit. We've got some nice pass and tent situations set up. And mostly you go now, I make her come. I go, sweetheart, it's for the networking. Like, yeah, I'm going to go there. I'm going to consume some transfusions, have a great time. but I need to go there to be able to talk to people, to network, to make sure that, things that are happening, what's going on, the moving and shaking in Columbus Schlegs. I mean, this is kind of the epicenter, and Friday at the Memorial, despite the fact that it's a little rainy today and it should be picking up here or slowing down here.
You already got a backer. What are you talking about, man? You're going to be fine.
Yeah, but it's more about walking around and enjoying.
I'm with you.
Enjoying the day. I don't want to wear a raincoat, man. I want to wear like a polo and some shorts and a hat and feel good about it.
I want to go up there in a white beater. That'd be amazing.
You can wear whatever you want on the course. And I'm sure there are people that wear beaters out there. Now, you would be one of the few Schlegs that would feel like that's the appropriate attire to wear to Muirfield Country Club or the village, not Muirfield, the village Muirfield or whatever it's called. Muirfield Village. Muirfield Village.
Honestly, I mean, just some I will say I've got a little upper calente in my choice of pants. I switched to those Kuyu attack pants. I really like them.
Kuyu, what is that?
Yeah, it's a brand. I don't know, but I like them because they got pockets. And
where did you find them?
On the line.
Did they infiltrate your algorithm?
They probably did. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try these, and I tried them.
This dude walk around, and he looks sweet in those pants. Let me click on the link and see what it looks like.
I had some of their hunting gear before, and I had their pants for that, like a lighter wear. And then I was like, they have other colors. I probably could just wear these every day with the Rocky boots and a tri-blade. And I do, and I'm like, man, this is fantastic. And then you throw on one of those poncho or Wrangler, pearl snaps. I'm right in. Last night I was over there mowing the deal, swinging the sledgehammer. It's not a sledgehammer. It's called the Warhammer from Swornix on the tire outside listening to country music. But I found a flannel.
So hold up. Swornix actually makes a sledgehammer that's non-functioning as a sledgehammer. It's just used for the tire.
It's called the Warhammer. It's just circle. And I filled the entire thing up with sand. So now it weighs, I think the max weight, I cannot put any more sand in there. It is stuffed with sand. So I think it weighs probably like 48 pounds.
It's a lot.
I'm just like,
a plate.
I know. It's awesome. That's why I like it. I do it 200 times on the right, 200 times on the left. My forearms, we got some veins in them. My hands feel girthy. I did it after I mowed the pasture last night.
Just smoking Blocky Miles?
The most important thing, no, I didn't have any, just some ons. But the most important thing was I found a flannel in my closet because I have some my denim ones that I wear every time. And I was like, I know I got an oldie but a goodie in here. And I searched in there, and sure enough, I found it. I was like, I put it on. I was like, man, this thing feels so good. And here we go.
We got a lot.
That's what I would wear to the Memorial. That's how I would feel the best. Oh, let me ask you this question, Bob. And we need to get on football. But hey,
this is football. Stories about guys.
What is up with the upside down hats? I got one from Hawken. They sent it to me. But like the script is like upside down.
Well, Schlegs, it's because it's all about how you see yourself. Maybe
upside down.
Turn me upside
inverted.
Down. Yeah, you get inverted. Maybe when you're with a dude, you'll be upside down. They'll be reading it that way. I mean, that's the question. I don't know.
Wow, way to go there, Bob. No, you know what though? It's funny because now you said that. Like my wife, she likes it when I dress nice.
Why don't you tell her, Steph? Why don't you put this hat on and then turn it right side up?
Let me see how this works. No. The beautiful thing is because we got Happy Gilmore movies going to be coming out again. I would have rooted for Happy Gilmore. Who are you rooting for?
Gilmore?
Who are you rooting for at the Memorial? Obviously, I do like Scotty Scheffler, Highland Park guy. I like the way he plays. But there's a guy yesterday that I think it went 7-5, 4-3, couple threes and a bunch of twos. Like, seems like it's playing hard. I'm wondering if when the Memorial is softer, it gives up more. But who are you rooting for?
They have. I don't know if you know this. They have like aerated greens. They can pull the water out of those greens so fast. They can suck it right out of their Schlegs, quick, fast, and in a hurry. So yeah, that the water comes in play a little bit and impacts your drive some and some different things. But yeah, it's going to be sucked out quick, fast, in a hurry. And it's not all that different than you sucking something down on the course. Yes. We're going to get into that next because I got a great story.
What's the cocktail? What's the cocktail of the Memorial? Is it a transfusion? Is like do they have their own specialty cocktail?
Yeah, it's the Jack Nicklaus milkshake that comes from the clubhouse, which are amazing.
I remember that. Matter of fact, okay, side nugget. When I got drafted, I told my parents, I told my dad, I was like, hey, if I get drafted in the first day, back then it was 3 rounds. I was like, we're going to play Muirfield. And didn't think I was getting drafted in the
I
third
love that
round.
you promised something you had no ability to deliver on yourself.
100%, 100%. And I did. So I was like, oh, snap. So I had Uncle Coach Mike, my brother-in-law, Coach Ketcheye, and my dad. And I called up Braves. I was like, Braves, listen, man, I got to get on Muirfield. I just got drafted. I told my dad I was going to take him like the next day. Like, can you do that? Boom, Braves got me on. Poof, David Copperfield. It was amazing. Then
Buckeyes helping Buckeyes.
I did another round, and Jack was actually there. I took my father-in-law, and I played with Greg Munster, who's a member out there. And Jack was actually there. Got to talk to him, and his son was there. It was awesome. Great.
Yeah, that's a good time.
I definitely had a milkshake.
I got way better stories than that, which slide's coming up. So we got one of those, and the Ohio State game times have been released.
Oh, man, so juiced up about this. OU at night? Yeah.
We're going to get some tease and reveal, but we'll get to that here in a moment. First, attention parents and athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to help absorb those high-impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards, they feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including patented use of carbon fiber. They 3D print it to your custom grill for more protection, better performance, max comfort, and clear communication so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Do not take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today and save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. The Buckeye game times for the non-conference, they've been revealed. We'll break them down, and one great story about Schlags coming up next. We love you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, leave your comments below. Comment in the chat. We love all of the interaction, everything that we can get going with you through this. And work on getting some guests. Going to try to get Locke on next week. Schlags, Coach Carlos Locke. He's got an unbelievable story of how he got into coaching.
He does. I
and
like
why he does it. So it's an awesome, awesome deal. But what else is awesome is every time I see around this time of year, Schlags, I see Will Smith Jr. working out. And it reminds me of our time when we went up to the memorial. And Will Smith, I think his late father, was at the same party that we were at.
Yeah.
And he was back, and it was after his rookie year. And so he had some change.
I still remember, it's weird, Bob. I still remember what he was wearing. He was wearing, you remember guys back in the day, like Tim's were big. He had jeans, Tim's on, and he had a really big white shirt.
White tee.
And a silver chain, but they were like extra big shirts back then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the long white tee.
Yeah, but he didn't have like an emblem. It was just like a silver. It looked really sharp. You know.
Yeah.
Anyways, I remember
that was Will's outfit. He had jeans, long white tee, and some Tim's
man.
And so this was the year of the cicada. Cicadas were cruising around, and someone may have caught one. And one Anthony Schlegel. I don't know, how did it get started, Schlags? Do you remember how all that went down? I mean, someone said, let's get Schlags to eat it. I mean, it's in the afternoon. We'd been light on food and heavy on beverages. And you were probably a little hungry and you need some protein, but they caught it. And then how did that go? Did someone say, let's eat it? Did you offer to eat it? What did that look like?
I mean, it probably got somebody caught it and was like, this is, look at this thing. This is gross. And then it probably went into nobody would eat this thing. And Schlags wouldn't even eat it. Dude, I ate grasshoppers and ants and stuff during Siri training. What are we talking about? It's just another doomajig. But I ain't doing it.
Another doomajig.
And then money started to get involved. You know what I mean?
Was Will the first one that threw down cash?
I don't think Will was the first one. The one thing I do remember is AJ over there kind of giggling. You know how he likes to instigate? Oh yeah, you got honestly, he turns into his best version of Ryan Miller to get you juiced up about it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those, it started getting juicy. And then I'm on a Pell Grant, man. And back then we only made what was our checks, Bob? $300 a month?
No, they were more than that. It was
like 400,
no, it was it's like that was for rent and food. Like we played
450.
no, they were my first year, it was 740.
Oh no, it wasn't that much.
Yes, it was.
Man, with the amount of golf that I played, I know it wasn't that much.
It was 740, and then I think by the time we left, it was like over 900, but it wasn't a lot. I mean, it was like 910, I think, our
I mean,
senior
that
year.
was half my rent. That was my rent check. Anyways, 'cause I lived in Hilliter. But I think that's what happened. I think AJ started hyping up people. You started over there. I can still see your like happy smile about stuff that's going to go down that is really awkward for other people. And you like that started going down. I think I walked away with, I think I got up to like $250, $250, and
I thought you said Will was the one though that really upped the.
oh no, he's the one that threw it down. Like, I mean, he's a first round draft pick. Like he put like a hundo on there. He might have put 2, and I had 50, and I said, you know what, for 250, and it's Will, you know, buckle up, Buttercup, let's do this thing. But I gave stipulations because I know these things, and you know, if I was just to throw that cicada in there, they got legs and wings. They're just boom, they go like that down your gullet. So I was like, hey, listen, I'm ripping these legs off and I'm taking these wings off.
No, you didn't get all the legs off. I remember you tearing the wings off because I remember there being a leg that was like hanging there.
I don't know if that's accurate, Bob.
I remember that.
At the end of the day, the real thing is that I did consume it, and I probably chased it down with something else, and I walked away $250 richer. So that
did you swallow it whole or did you bite it?
No, I threw it in there and chewed it. I hammered it a couple times and swallowed it.
There we go. I like that. That's good for you.
You want to feel the juice a little bit.
Feel the juices, the explosion in your mouth. I know that you're big for those explosions in your mouth, Schlegs. And speaking of some explosions here.
Yes.
I'm going to throw that up, Pat. I don't know if you're able to grab that. We got the Ohio State, the official start times. Now, for the first, I guess Michigan they throw in there. It's always going to be a noon game. Texas, big noon kick on
Sounds
Saturday.
So terrible.
Hold on. We're going to get to that, and we'll talk about this of why that happened and why it wouldn't move. We've got Texas versus, or not Texas. We've got Grambling the second week, which that game was originally instituted, Schlegs, to replace the Washington game because Washington was on the schedule, and then when they joined the conference, obviously that changed the dynamic of that. So that was thrown in there. So that's going to be a 3:30 game on CBS, and then the night game. That's on Big Ten Network, rather, the Grambling game. And then the night game is going to be OU, Ohio University, 7 o'clock. And that's going to be exclusively streamed on Peacock.
Oh, my gosh. I love that. I love it when they give us the night game on the cock, right? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and especially with being Ohio University, like there's going to be a lot of people that are furious because that's a game within the state, Ohio State, Ohio University, and you're going to put that on the stream. And there's a lot of people who live in areas where they don't have reliable enough internet now in Ohio to be able to have, you know, a frothy stream. And also it's you got to buy that outside of even a separate normal cable package.
No doubt.
I think there's going to be a lot of people that are very, very upset about seeing that.
This is going to get completely against the legislator about the streaming deal. I don't understand why they couldn't put that in 3:30 noon. Me personally, as a player, noon doesn't matter. I like 3:30 a little bit better. Obviously, a night game on a big game matters, but my kind of sweet spot is I do like the 3:30 time slot. It allows you to just like sleep in a little bit on that day. But the fact that Texas is at noon, I want you to go into this, and that OU is at 7, that's absolutely asinine.
Yeah, those should be flipped. And here's the thing. I like night games when they're appropriate to be night games. Ohio University is a great noon kick, man. Put it at noon. Everybody gets up. You go see it.
A great noon kick.
Come in, they drink. You know, you got your people. The Bobcats are coming in. You've got people that went to Ohio University that are Ohio State fans too. Everyone comes in there. You watch the game. Yada yada yada. You're done there. Then watch whatever games you have at 3:30 and 7 o'clock, or go do that. Texas game being at noon, we've talked about, and.
Go back into the why, though, Bob.
Well, so here's the deal. I don't know if you have that in there, if you ended up putting that in about the Texas AD, the reason why he said he didn't want it to be at noon or be on Sunday was he came out and said that he wanted to go. He had church. That's why he won. That's why Texas didn't agree to move it to Sunday. And so I've heard other people talking. I don't know why they need the team to agree. It's the road team. It's whatever it is. And I get that. But I guarantee you in the contracts that they wrote, they probably agreed to play on August 30th at home. The time, well, that's going to be decided by the networks and decided at a future date, just like the next year's is going to be decided on. But if you want to shift it off the day, you need probably approval from the team that you're going to be playing.
Yep.
And so they would need to approve that. And so that's why Fox wanted to shift it to Sunday night. Saturday night, they've got Major League Baseball, which this game, Texas and Ohio State, would outdraw that bigly.
I mean,
but they've got
you'd probably pull 20 million people for sure.
Yeah, it's a huge game.
20 million.
It's two of the biggest fan bases in two of the biggest states. There's a lot of intrigue nationally around it. People will watch. People will watch. And so they couldn't get it moved. Fox, I guess, wanted to move it. They were on the team. But Texas, if you're Texas Strikes, what's your incentive to move it? You don't really need any more awareness. You want to get the win. Like, yeah, playing at night, you used to be like, oh, we'll sell this, we'll sell that. We're going to be out there in front of everybody. You're Texas. You don't need that. So you're going to already be visible to as many people as you need to be visible to. This does suck for your fans at home because 11 a.m. start for them in Texas. I guarantee you those Texas fans would have probably rather had it been at night, but they'd also rather have their team have every advantage and make sure that they can ultimately win the game. And so that's why they didn't need to move it. And that's why they didn't. And so it stinks, but that's the reality that we're living in right now, man. And I hope they go back with this revisit the contracts with Alabama and Georgia. And I don't know when they're supposed to play those teams, like what weeks, but I never liked the opening week game. But if we're going to be having to be holding to big noon here for the next however many years, 7-8 years, then go back and redo those deals and say, hey, we'd still like to play you, but we need for playing a Memorial. I hope they're opening games, and they're probably not. This is probably one of the few that were. But if you can play those games on an opening Sunday, Labor Day weekend, and then that way you can make them that Sunday on Labor Day weekend, as opposed and have that as an option, as opposed to not being able to get it done for your home game. And then on the return trip the next year, having to play that at night.
I think it's fair. I mean, when you go, they just have to make sure that they have it in their contract, Bob. Because the other thing could potentially be a competitive disadvantage would be, all right, we move that game to a Sunday. Who do we got week 2? Because you had a short week now because you played a day later. We got Grambling. What are we talking about?
Yeah, and they have someone, but it's a similar game.
Yeah, no doubt. So it doesn't even matter. So it's like it's a wash. We should have done it. I understand why Texas didn't want to do it because of what you stated. But you got to go back and especially the other big ones that are coming down the pipeline. It's like, hey, listen, we both agree. And it might not be advantageous for you because it just so happens to be on the year that you're there. But like these type of matchups, man, should 100% be at night. It only helps us. It helps them because you're going to both locations. Like, this is what the people want. Helps us in recruiting. Helps our fans, man. I want to go there and be excited. I'm going to games this year, Bob. Now that
really?
Yeah.
You didn't go to any games last year.
I haven't been to any game. The last game I went to in Ohio Stadium, I went to the 22 Michigan game because it was my daughter's birthday, and we did the Tunnel of Pride. This last year I couldn't go. That was terrible. But before that one, the last time I went to a game inside the stadium, not coaching, was in 15. It was the first blackout versus Penn State.
Yeah.
When we launched the striking machine on the tree outside of St. John's Arena. Remember that, Bob?
I remember that now. Yeah.
That was the first game I ever went to in Ohio Stadium, not coaching or playing.
Yeah.
And then I don't know.
And I don't know.
Yeah, now you got me confused.
That's good.
What's the drink at the Memorial game? Transfusion? Is that their drink?
They drink transfusions everywhere, Schleiks.
I know, but what's the cocktail of delight?
What am I going to drink? Transfusions. I love transfusions.
I know, but
it's everything you need. It's ginger ale. It's grape juice.
What is the drink of the tournament? Do they have this? It can't be Jack's milkshakes.
I don't know.
His milkshake doesn't bring all the boys to the yard.
Talk to Tom Sprouse because he's the director. Maybe he'll be able to tell you. Maybe they don't have an official one. And we'll have to break that
Maybe we
down.
should make one, aka the monster Dickle.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it'll be the Monster Dickle, but they might work on something. All right, we're long for a break. We got to hit a quick break here. We got more stuff coming up after this. Some recruiting news. Your boy Tebow Schlegs, Tyler Bowen, not the
Yes.
Tim Tebow. Break that down here next. Welcome back into the show. And occasionally you get some awesome news when you're out there recruiting. And this is some good news. Schlegs, you coach with this dude in Jacksonville, new offensive line coach Tyler Bowen. Getting some great news when you have a four-star offensive lineman Sam Greer. So we're going to throw this up here and throw up some of his clips of him, big, mauling, monsterful dude. Pretty excited about this. If you could toss that up, Pat.
Don't show his basketball highlight. That's amazing.
Basketball highlights the best. I mean, that's the type of dude that I want. I want dudes with an attitude. But we can start off with how hyped he was because he wanted to actually commit in person. And so he's there with his dad, his mom, Ryan Day, Tyler Bowen. Whenever we can throw that up, Pat, it would be tremendous. And he wanted to commit in person and get everybody juiced up. And then as everybody sees it, you should be juiced. As we scroll the next one, like we can see how juiced up the coach Ryan Day and everybody's fired up.
Football linemen playing basketball, those are the best ones.
Oh, yeah. Committing in person. Look at that. Look at that. He's going to smash him into some differences back there, Schlegs.
I know.
All right. Here's some of his play. I mean, just dudes out there mauling. Go to the next one. This is what you want to see, though. Basketball court. Watch this at Hoban, Schlegs. Oh, yeah. Throw it down, big man. Hold on. Block shot. Let's wait for it. Oh, butter. Silky smooth. Okay. Where's the one where him is the final one? Show the last one. Show the last clip. That's the best. Here we go. Not get on. Let's take it outside, Schlegs.
That's a foul.
There we go. Boom. Out of the paint. Out of the paint. Out of the paint, Schlegs.
Yeah. Hey, get him. Yeah, that's so funny, dude. Look up. You know what, though? He can move his feet. And here's the thing, man. I think Tyler's done an excellent job. I would say our coaching staff has done an excellent job. It's not fake. It's authentic. They want to develop guys. They want guys that want to be developed. They want guys that have a chip, that play with an attitude. Like, you can be that and also be very aggressive. You know, like you can be a good human. Like, we've talked about Emeka. It was cool. I was watching some stuff. Baker to Emeka. Like, Emeka's still doing Emeka things even in the league, guys. Like, he's going to be fantastic. But you're watching these guys. They're great. They're great humans, but you can also still play with a chip. I love this.
Absolutely. And so that's great to see, Schlegs. We love it. We got a lot of official visits coming in this weekend.
Oh, this is a big weekend, man. Coach Locke got a 5-star up in the building.
Really?
Yeah, 5-star running back in the building this week.
There we go. I like that. They've got a bunch of guys coming through with some business stuff. So I've got some of the meetings that I'm going to be locking in on over there at the Woody. So pretty darn excited.
What's that pitch for you, Bob? Like, give everybody a snapshot. Hey, here you go. You're going to come in here.
Like, we're talking about the business school. And so I said, all right, I teach over the business school. I'm a 2-time graduate of Fisher. So let me tell you what it's like to go here. I can tell you what your school's like. And someone had a great question. They asked, they're like, is it, everybody talks about majoring doing this. Like, how many business students majors do you have? I'm like, well, J.K. Dobbins was a business major. I'm like, we've had a handful of guys that come through here. Cody Simon just majored in finance. And the thing is, they go, is it too hard? I'm like, it's not easy, but I go, you coming to Ohio State because you think it's going to be the easiest place for you to play? Like, or do you like a challenge? I go, anything that you've ever accomplished in life that you really value came at some expense.
Yeah, for sure.
It just gives you a win. It doesn't mean anything. If you can just roll under the bench and bench 400 pounds, like, that doesn't mean anything. It's the work you put into it. So yes, it's hard, but select classes are going to be more difficult, and you're going to have to study and you have to work a little bit. When you're done, you're going to have a meaningful degree that you put some work in with. I go, man, I did it. I was like, I had friends that did it when I was here. We've had players do it. And I came back and got my MBA. And so I talked to him about the teaching process and then talk a little bit about some of the business community in Ohio State and how I like that we have the technical aspect of being able to learn in the classroom. And then we also have other business leaders and internships and things that Columbus affords you the opportunity to do, to get out there and go be a part of that. And like Lorenzo Stiles was is doing some of these internships and stuff. And like, guys are learning about these things. And so it's awesome to see. And I love it. And so I kind of, Shake's kind of talk about the whole fit of, it's like, I'm probably the only guy who you'll talk to, who is a professor or teaches at the school and went to the school, played at the school, got a master's at the school, and like still around these guys all the time.
Yeah.
Like I give them like I'll give you my unfettered opinion. And by the way, I don't get paid anything by the football team. Any dollars I get come from the Fisher College of Business. So I love this place, but they're not paying me to do this.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of grad parties and stuff tomorrow. So when they're texting me, I need my schedule so I can figure out when you want me there. I was like, today is out because I'm going to the boat. I'm going to the Memorial. I love the Buckeyes, but I need to do some things too. But Saturday, let me know when works. I'll get over there. We'll get it planned and we'll get everything taken care of. So that's always the pitch, man. It's authentic. It's real. And you ask a question, I'm going to tell you the answer. Because like Ryan, like, dude, it's a program of honesty. And like, if you lie to guys, then they're just going to leave anyway. So just be real with it all. My goodness, we got a lot of stuff still to get to today as well.
We gotta go. We gotta get
my
some
friends
hammers
over. Tell you about my friends over at Backer. That's bckr.com. Going to be utilizing it today. They've got unbelievable gear, whether it's from their light windbreaker, which I've been wearing a lot here through the cool spring mornings. They've got an awesome winter coat. The raincoat's coming out today for a little bit at the Memorial. So you're going to use that. It's a premium product with a premium price because it's so nice. The quality is there. The functionality is there. When you wear it, it feels good. It looks good, like that high quality hunting, fishing, golfing, skiing, like the apparel that you want, and it's branded with the Buckeyes right there for you. So it's going to look good. Just go to bckr.com. Portion of all your proceeds go back to the student athletes. The hats are great. They're working on bucket hats. Fitted hats are also now in the pipeline. Use promo code Bobby, all caps, BUBBY, for free expedited shipping. Again, that's backer, bckr.com. We got our headlines coming up next. So, do you know who Rick Derringer is?
I do.
You do. Did you know who he was before I texted this over?
Actually, I did because it was weird. It was from something that was way back of like really good songs. And I never watched the video, like the real video of Hang On Sloopy. And you just got this girl up there dancing with no bra on from the 70s, right? It's like,
oh, that sounds great.
You know, that was the video. The video that was made was fantastic. You got to go watch it. But yes, that's how I knew who he was.
And everybody, tries to get my Sloopy down.
I know.
Sloopy, I don't care what your daddy do, because you know, Sloopy girl, I'm in love with you.
Yeah, 100%.
It stinks. The McCoys, who sing Hang On Sloopy, released in 1965. The Ohio State the same year, Ohio State marching band began playing the song at football games back in Ohio State, and the song quickly became a favorite among Ohio State fans and of the band. Derringer is an Ohio native who is also known for writing the song and rock and roll and hoochie coo, and working with the artists like Cyndi Lauper, Barbra Streisand, and Ringo Starr during his career. So he passed away at 77. And look at that. That's like a great picture. Like when I think of the 70s, I'm thinking of Rick Derringer right there.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Looks sweet.
The legend,
open
man.
Chest. Yeah, just a jacket, just a light denim jacket on.
So here we go. I've got a sweet denim jacket that I stole from my dad, and he tried to want it back, but I'm like, dude, you can't fit in it anymore, so it's mine now. But everybody loves a nice denim like jacket / shirt, especially one that's like a lighter acid wash, because dude, it just screams, I like to party and I'm awesome. So that's it for our headlines today. Our headlines are brought to you by our friends over at Lake Spur Marketing. They're a full service ad agency built on trust, strategy, performance. The Lake Spur team shields you and your team from the unwanted outside noise, cold calls, the nonsense. They let you do what you do best. Work on your business. Let them take care of the rest of it for you. They've got over 100 years of experience in the marketing game. Lake Spur eliminates the waste. And here's the best part, folks. They're delivering on budget for you. So they're going to make sure that they stay within the bounds of what you can spend and how you feel. They don't chase the clicks. They build partnerships. Lake Spur Marketing, the proof is in the partners. We got our tailgate talk coming up next. All right, Schleiks, we got our tailgate talk, and I was looking through some of the comments from our show yesterday, and we were talking a little bit, or maybe it was 2 days ago, I'm not sure, earlier this week, and there's some really good comments in there, and one of them was by Timothy Cunningham, He said, y'all, and talking about some of the, is when we talking about the expansion and what it looked like. He said, y'all, you have to be truthful in all things. Sankey is more interested in what the SEC will get over than anything else. But if everybody thinks that the SEC conference is overwhelmingly better than any other, then why include any other conference in the FBS? Make it their CFP. I don't think that they're that. I don't think they're that top heavy. There are as now only 5 teams, top teams in the SEC: Georgia, Bama, Texas, LSU, Tennessee. The rest are mid to lower tier on average, up and down years on average. Florida and Oklahoma, who once were up, are struggling, which is true, but Florida might be on the comeback.
Yep.
Ole Miss, has been up and down. We'll see what they are. Basically, in going to surmises, the NIL and the transfer portal have made it more competitive all over, with the top teams in the SEC not getting all of the talent anymore. That makes a big difference. And I think there is some truth to that. And so it's interesting because I think the SEC, and I don't know if it's the Big Ten, but coming out in the 4-4-2-1-3.
4-4-2-2-1-3.
Yeah, 4-4-2-2-1-3 with the automatic bids. Like, I think the SEC and Big Ten are going to make out fine either way. And they may even get more if you don't do that. So seeing them backtrack on this a little bit, because I think the coaches are competitive. The SEC, the record was the record for a number of years. They were very good at the top. The rest of the conference, I think was pretty good. But, and the Big Ten's got some really good teams at the top. Middle, ebbs and flows. But the back end of the Big Ten, this is the problem, is you've got some teams in the back end of the Big Ten that were really not competitive for a number of years. And that's the one thing that they've got to get changed.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, Bob. I think that, I don't remember who it was, maybe Jay Book, somebody put this out there, but I agreed with the statement. And we've talked about it too. There's more parity in college football than there ever has been. And the recruiting has gotten significantly better. The haves still have. They still get the recruits. But as far as where the majority of those recruits like to go in the SEC, well, guess what? Everybody can pay for them now. Even though I don't know if they did, but hey, we'll just say that because it's fun to say. So the thing is this, everybody's getting better players across the board. And the thing that bothers me the most is that they feel that their environments or their schedule, and there is another one, there's a clip of it in our Doomajig, Bob, talking about they play the hardest schedule in college football. And then you look at some of these, you're like, what are you talking about?
Yep.
Texas schedule last year. You can say the same thing for Indiana's schedule last year. We can say that. The problem is with all these scheduling, it's all done well in advance, not your conference. But honestly, let's face it, the 2 best conferences, you can't say the SEC is better than the Big Ten. The Big Ten has won the previous 2 years. It's also why they're kind of like up in arms. Like, no, we have the hardest schedule. Like, that's why. Well, if we were only had 4 teams, we would have been in the 4. Well, it also would have been the Big Ten. So, but we wanted more money. We wanted more things. Yesterday, I did not want it to seem that I was backing Sankey in this. I was saying, or how he's trying to not change football or change football for the better. It was just the fact that everybody at the table, nobody has a backbone or any type of conviction to make it right regardless. That's the problem. And so I think he should be scrapping and fighting for the SEC. That's his job. Yeah. Did he go do that for the Big Ten? Pounded that. No, we have the best freaking schedule. And we have the most money because we have the better contract. So, and we have the most eyeballs in our market. You're confined. You said it. You're in the Southeast.
Pull that tweet up here. And it's funny because Ari Wasserman, who does a great job, said, do people think the last 2 national champions being from the Big Ten coinciding with the fact you can pay players legally now is just some wild coincidence? And I do agree that has leveled the playing field because now Ohio State, everybody can pay, and the Big Ten schools have just as much, if not more money than the SEC. And so that has balanced it out. We'll get into a little more of that next week. We're long for a break here, Schlegs. We've got our Dude of the Week coming up next. Final segment of the show. We do this every Friday to round it out. Dude of the Week for me, Schlegs. It's a guy who, outside of him just popping into my frame of mind as I was giving this speech yesterday at the Ohio Drug Summit, and I don't even have the pamphlet stuff in here. But it was great. Spoke for 90 minutes. They had some questions, and they started talking about servant leadership. And I was like looking at examples and talked about trust. And then all of a sudden, Xavier Johnson and then ultimately Travian Henderson popped into my mind about those guys. How do you demonstrate servant leadership? I'm like, so guys lift at Ohio State, have the sweat towels out. And I'm like watching Xavier start doing it first, and then Trey start helping, and Will, like all these guys. But I go watching where Trey came from as a person to then ultimately him carrying around these sweat rags and picking up guys' gross sweat towels, disposing of them. Then all of a sudden one day your head coach calls you and said, hey, we want to bring in another great player at your position. It's going to change your touches and change maybe your role. Are you good with it? Yeah, I'll do it. Like, how do you be a servant leader? Do stuff for others, sacrifice yourself and be selfless for others. And so Trey was my example for that. And it just kind of popped into my head. It was something I think that everybody connected with. And so I was just seeing them like, you know what? Thanks for helping me out, Trey. Thanks for being a great dude and being a great example of that.
Yeah, it really went back to yesterday, right? If service is below you, then leadership is beyond you. And I visibly have seen Trey on our grueling Friday workouts. There's water bottles everywhere because guys are, like the gas is being emptied. It's over. Putting your water bottles back. Guess what? Like he set the example, then other guys do it, and it's the power of the unit. That's what is infectious. And the cool thing is, like, you don't have to go say, hey, Trey, I want you to be infectious. I want you to make the team like you. It's just part of who he is.
Yep.
You don't have to think about it. Like that's when you know it's like that's why he is the dude of the week, right? And why I was so juiced that Braves got him, because he's going to help with that culture rebuild that he wants there in New England.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for today's show. Stay locked in. We'll be back with a big show on Monday right here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.